18 cars left on track. Dick Berggren is with Ryan Newman.
Well, what happened out there?
Looks like Tony Stewart's the only one that's going to get I'll tell some exposure tonight. You don't spin him out on the straightaway. I'm pretty sure, 99% sure, he got me from behind. We had a really.
Oh, the replay showed he didn't hit you.
I don't know what happened then. It just got loose. So I don't know. That's all I can say. We had a really fast race car. Either something broke or I just lost it.
Okay, better luck next time. Thanks, Ryan.
A frustrating night for last year's winner.
Yeah.
A look at the Lowe's Motor Speedway from the Goodyear Blimp. Stars and stripes.
Set them up.
Pace car will drive in. Let's set them up. Let's go 3 or 2. Let's go 2 laps.
Double foul restart.
We got 2 laps to go. We did have 2 cars come to pit road. Jeff Burton in the 99, Jeff Gordon in the 24. Right now, with Ryan Newman, Ward Burton out of the picture, 4 cars will not make it. 18 cars on the racetrack.
I think Gordon probably made a good move, Larry, by coming and getting those tires.
Well,
I kind of question it, but with only 4 cars he's got to beat, that gives him a bit of an advantage.
And I tell you what, he's bringing Jeff Burton in the 99 with him. Yeah, this late into this segment with those other cars on older tires.
That'll get him in the final shootout anyway. It should.
It's got to pass 1 more car.
And Dale Jarrett not going to be easy to pass with 1 lap to go.
Oh gosh, here we go. More trouble, guys. Tony Stewart's up in that.
Elliott Stewart.
Took them all.
Terry Labonte.
Took them all out.
Dale Jarrett.
Junior's in it. Tony Stewart got in it.
And Mark Martin.
Now they're coming for the caution, and this will be lap 70. This should be the end of this segment. Because cautions do count. This is the segment. Kurt Busch in the 97. He will win this segment $50,000.
You know what? We may not have 14 cars to start the last segment.
What did I tell you when we started? A little optimistic to think that we're going to have 14 cars.
We only had 12 cars cross the start-finish line. There you see Dale Earnhardt Jr. with all kinds of damage. Ricky Rudd came across in 12. Remember, he just barely made it into the second segment.
He's going to make it again. Now it's a question of who can get repaired and answer the call for the final 10 laps.
And they have 10 minutes to repair it.
Somebody down there going into turn 1, it would look like a white car, did a real crazy dive. It may have been Mark. I'm not sure. I got to look at it. But somebody did a real dive down to the inside.
Mark's okay. Terry Labonte's okay. Here's Tony Stewart climbing out.
Here we go. We're going down here now. Somebody up here just all of a sudden. Tony got in the back of Terry Labonte. Yeah.
And then they just stacked up behind him.
Right. Tony tried to go under Terry Labonte and couldn't make it. I saw Mark Martin. I saw the white car take a dive, but it was because of the wreck in front of him. There's Bill.
Well, at first it looks like Stewart's going to try to go 3 wide. He thinks better of it.
Yeah.
And then still coming on the bottom.
Boy, look at Jeff Gordon all the way down on the apron. He's going to come across and finish 9th in that segment.
And you know why he could do that?
Fresh tires.
You got it.
Jeff Gordon, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Burton, and Ricky Rudd all escaped that going down to the apron.
And it just shows you how quickly it can change, because a minute ago we were saying Jeff Gordon's out of it. He can't even make this transfer.
And you know what? Right here, it's Tony Stewart. A miscue on that pit stop puts him back in the field. Otherwise, he'd probably be up there battling Kurt Busch for the win.
Yeah, I was concerned about that.
Now, Dale Jarrett was in the final transfer spot when all this happened. $1 million to win, and we're going to have $1 million junkyard when it's over.
Well, that's always how it goes. The guy you run over, you got to ride in the ambulance with. That's not a good ride.
So we're into the second intermission. 10 minutes.
Maybe a half back in that right rear.
And guess who probably will start on the front row of this thing if they invert 10, and trust me, they will. Jeff Gordon will start on the outside of the front row.
With Sterling Marlin.
Sterling Marlin on the pole. If they invert 10, and trust me, that's what will happen.
We're told that everyone involved in the accident did climb out okay.
Why you got your Tums out, D.W.?
I got to have a Tums now. It's getting a little rough up here.
12 cars crossed the start-finish line to take the caution ending segment 2. Terry Labonte's and Tony Stewart's were not among them, although they are scored in the top 14. Eliminated: Mark Martin, Bill Elliott, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Jarrett, Ryan Newman, and Ward Burton. Let's listen in to Chad Knaus talking with driver Jimmy Johnson.
There's nobody out there that can pass. Like the 8 came in and put on tires, the 20 came and put on tires, the 24. Once they got back there, they couldn't pass. You were just like, doo, doo, doo. I mean, it's...
Get the day.
Remember, I got to go try to buy a house tomorrow.
Hope his phone's not listed. Every realtor in North Carolina.
Yeah, that was car owner Rick Hendrick in there. He had a few simple words. Get the million.
Dick Berggren.
With Chad Knaus, well, it sure looks awful good. How is this hot rod?
It's pretty good right now. The first segment, we were a little bit free. We made some small adjustments to try to tighten it up just a little bit. We went a little bit too far for the second segment, so we're going to kind of go right in the middle, and hopefully we got it just right for the end. You never know. Maybe we'll get $1 million with this Lowe Chevrolet.
Yeah, this team wins $1 million. You get some of it?
We'll just have to wait and see what comes in the check. How's that?
All right, good luck with it, Chad.
Well, now it gets interesting because fans have been voting on NASCAR.com how many positions to invert. It won't be all 14, as Mark Martin's car is hauled back to the garage. Well, I wouldn't call that a car. It's what's left of it. And there are the choices, 4, 6, 8, or 10. If they invert 4, Matt Kenseth goes to the pole. If they invert 6, it's Joe Nemechek. 8, Ricky Craven. And all 10, it'll be Sterling Marlin.
With Jeff Gordon right beside him if they do 10. What do you think, Larry?
I believe they'll do 10. They've always inverted the maximum amount. Jimmy Johnson at 48, that would put him starting 4th.
Well, we've already had the Grand Slam wreck. Let's go down to Matt Yoakum for our Denny's All-Star interview. Denny's a good place to sit and eat.
Well, Mike, Kurt Busch waiting for the inversion. Worst case scenario, if it's 10, which more than likely it will be, do you have enough time with 20 laps to get to the front again?
We'll see how it shakes up. I mean, this Rubbermaid Ford's been pretty severe so far as getting through the pack and taking advantage. I just don't know if we had guys playing possum or not. I mean, obviously all the guys up front were running strong, and we'll see what we got. I mean, the roll of the dice, we'll see what the invert gives us, and we'll race this car to the best of its ability.
Now, what did you tell me when I first stuck my head in the window? You said you were playing with people a little bit too?
No, I'm just trying to think of what they're thinking, whether they were backing off to gain more spots on the invert, or, that's mainly what you got to think about. And then I saw us in 3rd place. I'm like, heck, let's try to go for the 50 grand in the second break here. And now we got to put on a show coming up through the pack. So we'll see what the invert is. We're having some fun, though.
He is certainly having some fun. Next up, $1 million. He's going to try to go for it, Steve.
Well, Matt, Terry Labonte just out of the infield care center. Terry, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What happened on the racetrack?
Well, I thought Tony was coming on the inside. They were going to make it 3 wide, get in 1, so I checked up, and I guess he checked up too to get back in line, and we hit, and around we went, and it was over. That's a perfect example of what a red flag causes like that. There was no reason to put the red out, and caused a big wreck, tore up some cars. Thought we were sitting in a pretty good spot for the final segment there.
Thanks, Terry. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Terry Labonte would be listed as 13th. Here are the top 10 in segment 2. 50 grand for Kurt Busch. Bobby Labonte and Kevin Harvick also get paid. And from there on back, they move into the final 10-lap segment down through Tony Stewart and headed home. Mark Martin, Bill Elliott, Dale Jr., Dale Jarrett, and in the previous crashes, Ryan Newman and Ward Burton. So let's see what the fans voted on NASCAR.com. Dick Berggren.
And General McDard is going to do that. Let's see. Tip them over.
Here they are.
All right. Going to start out with the top 4, 16%. Top 6, 18%. Oh, it's growing, General. Top 8, 17%.
What do you think? Here it is.
Well, yes. What
You
a
do the math.
surprise. No one would have guessed. 49% going to invert the top 10.
Oh, big surprise.
Man, I never would have guessed that.
Steve Burns.
With Tony Stewart, Tony, it was a promising night, but it's not going to end the way you wanted.
No, not at all. We just went down into 1 and got a big run on Terry on the inside and was going 3 wide, and I backed off and got back in line, and I think his spotter, he told me his spotter said I was still down there, and so he checked up to take care of all three of us, or so he thought. And it wasn't his fault. I mean, it was just one of those deals where he thought I was still down below him and I was behind him, and when he checked up, I was right behind him. So, just one of those racing things here. It was my fault that I even got us back there. Zippy told me to stay out. We had a really, really good car. And I was just watching the mirror, and Jimmy Johnson's lagging back and, playing the games he plays. But, I mean, it's part of being the Winston. I mean, that's what makes it so exciting for everybody. You do things like that. So, we just made the wrong call, and it hurt him too. But we had to fight our way back up into the top 10 to try to get in that invert, and had to make some stuff happen in a pretty quick amount of time. But for everybody that thinks I spun Ryan Newman, there was about 5 or 6 feet in between me and Ryan Newman, so he can complain all he wants to. He had been trying to wreck himself for about 4 laps right before that, so he finally did it to himself there. He can lay off of me.
Yeah, the replay showed it, Tony. Glad you're all right. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, it's my fault.
Survival of the fastest or eliminate. We have certainly crashed some cars out of the final segment. It hasn't even started yet. We'll be right back right here on FX.